Everybody, it's Lyn from LynzCrafts. I'm coming by today to update, or however you want to say it. From time to time, I do a tutorial called Rolled Inclusion Beads, or CABACHONS. I'm going to do that again today, doing a few different techniques. Alright, so I've got a block of Primo Accents Translucent, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure I'm going to use it because it's pretty darn stiff. So I may switch to a larger new block that I've got. So I'm going to cut this up and see if it can be conditioned, and then I'm going to roll it out, and I'm going to roll it out on the thinnest setting on my pasta machine. It does seem like this is going to work. One of the questions I get asked quite a bit is what I roll my clay out on. I run it out on a 4 on my pasta machine, and I'm going to explain why I do that. For instance, on this piece, I rolled it out on a 4, I did the technique, and then I backed it. So now I've got 2 layers on a 4. So that equates to about an 8. And then I put a layer of resin on top. So those 2 4s plus the resin on top gives you a good thickness for a pendant. Alright? So that's why I roll out on a 4. The 2 thicknesses together is also a good weight for a pendant if you're making a pendant that doesn't have resin on top. Alright? Alright, so I've rolled this out again on a 4. I've conditioned it a couple of times. I'm going to condition it a bit more, and then I'm going to roll it out on the thinnest setting, which on my pasta machine, I believe maybe, not sure if it's a 9 or a 1. On my pasta machine, it is a 9. So I'm going to start with some Mica Flakes. Alright. So I'm gonna, let's see. Should I do the silver or should I do the darker? I'm gonna start with, this is a kind of a bronze or brown color that I'm gonna start with. Now, Mica Flakes are a natural mineral stone. Some of them have been colored or other factors, but it is a natural mineral product. Alright, so I've just sprinkled a bit of the Mica Flakes on the clay. Alright, another thing that I've recently been asked about is what do embossing powders do when you put them in the clay instead of just on top? So, I'll show you. This is it's the Ranger, it's just the embossing powder, I believe. Alright, so get you something so that you can control a bit more how much you put on. Alright, you don't want to put too much. the embossing powder will naturally stick to the clay when it's unbaked. Sorry. When it's baked, it won't. Then you'll need to use an embossing ink or something to get it to stick. Alright, I just want to spread that out a bit more. Alright, now you can roll it up just like it is, or you can add some strips of colored clay, which is what I'm going to do. Alright, I've got a bit of Primo, and this is in the brown. And I'm not going to condition it or anything. It will get plenty conditioned before we bake it. So, I'm just going to chop it up into some strips or pieces. And randomly place them around. Alright? Something like that. Alright, now you're going to roll it up. You can roll it from the long end or from the short end. I'm going to go from the short end. Alright, it'll want to crumble and fall apart and all kinds of stuff, but just keep it together the best you can. Try not to get quite so many air bubbles in there. And just roll it up. Alright, now it's going to be full of air bubbles. You can't get around that. So what you want to do is start squishing it. At this point, just squishing it. There should be enough breaks in the clay to let the air out. Alright. Now I'm going to continue squishing it, but I'm going to move my hands closer together and squish it this way. Alright. Alright, now I've compacted it down quite a bit. Now I'm going to roll it. Alright, since we've got most of the air out of it at this point, just going to roll it down, and then I'm going to start twisting it. Slowly at first. You don't really want it to tear necessarily. So slowly at first, and then it will get warmer and twist easier. Alright. Now, don't worry if it does tear. And don't worry that you're not getting twists on the end, because we're going to remedy that. Alright? So once again, I'll start mashing it down, compacting it, then I'm going to roll it again. If it wants to start to come apart on you, just mash it back together. Alright. Now I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to put it together with the two end pieces opposite each other. Alright, mash it back together and then roll it. Alright, once it's rolled out a bit, you can begin to twist it again. Alright, it doesn't need to be too much. Compact it again just to get the ends about the same thickness as the rest of the piece. Alright, then I'm going to roll it just a bit again. Alright, now you can see all of the lovely swirls that we've got going on. Alright. Now, at this point, you've got a choice. You can either roll it out again using your pasta machine on about a 4 and do a layered technique where you've got a different color base stone and then you just put a sheet of this on top. Or you can make cabochons from the whole piece, which is what I'm going to do. Alright, so just slice a bit off. I'm going to pinch the cut end because I don't want a cut end shown on this piece. Alright. Alright, now I can either roll this into a ball or I can do the compress again. Get a towel. And just start working it into your cabochon shape. Alright, to help me out. Alright, now keep in mind the first piece that we just did has the copper metallic embossing powder. That was this roll. On this roll, we're going to use the silver glitter. This happens to be Embossing Tinsel by Ranger. Alright, and I'm also going to use some Silver Dazzling Metallics by Deco Art acrylic paint. The color of acrylic paint you use doesn't really matter. Use whatever your project calls for. Alright, then just let that dry before we go on to the next step. Alright, so this time I'm going to use these silver Mica Flakes. Again, just a few. And the silver tinsel glitter, embossing powder. Now again, if you think it needs a bit more color, you can add a bit of clay in whatever color you want. Alright, again I'm just going to add some really thin slices, if I can get it to let me cut it. Try to add the polymer clay where you've got less of the paint and the embossing powder. Not that it really necessarily matters. Alright. Then once again, we're going to roll it. Alright, now in this one, I'm going to use the gold Mica Flakes. Alright, try to spread them out a bit more than just dropping them in one place. Alright, then let's go with the African Gold from the Antique Gold line of Ranger embossing powders. Alright, this has got some gold and some silver glitters in it. And then, just to show you can mix it up a bit, I'm going to mix in some red polymer clay. This could also be acrylic paint. Although, like before, if I was using the acrylic paint, I would use it before adding the mica powder, the Mica Flakes and the glitter. And you could also use the red polymer clay before you do the Mica Flakes and the glitter, just because it will help it stick better. Wants to stick to me. Oh, I did forget to mention, this is actually Sculpey 3, this red is. Just to use it up. Because I've got a bit of Sculpey 3. Alright, again, then just roll it up and do the same roll. Alright, here they are after baking. They just need to be sanded and polished. And I'll show you what they look like after that. Alright? Alright, here they are. Polished and buffed and with a coat of Varathane on them. This is the red one. This is the one with the copper embossing powder in it. Now in the middle, alright, in the middle part of the roll, you'll get a little bit more of the stripes, and probably you'll be able to see a bit more of the Mica Flakes than on the end cut. Alright. But here's the silver one. You can see those Mica Flakes shining out really pretty. More down here. Alright. On the red one you can see the gold Mica Flakes under the surface. Some of the gold embossing powder. On this one we used the gold glitter. Not sure which one we used, but this one was the copper and this one was the silver glitter. Alright. Really fun, easy project. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye now.